Hey everyone, wanted to go over Material Frame 4 today. First, a bit of history. This is Builder. It's a bit of a mess because I've been working on Material Frame 4 inside this world, but when I first made Builder for the NCC contest, this world had Material Frame 1, I'll call it, and so the materials were down here on these white panels. There's some white panels left because it's something to do with the eyelashes, I think. I'll fix that later. I then went to Build an Energy, which is the second Builder world that I made, and that got Material Frame 2, and then 3. Yeah, I went straight from 2 to 3. It was a funny story. I think it was something to do with the colors. Yeah, it was the colors. I added the color support in 3. Yesterday, Gearbell and I created the Builder Harpy world. Huge thanks to Gearbell for the models there, and we made Material Frame 3.1 in that case. I think 3.1, the only change was I removed these the close and pin box from the material color display. That was a bit frustrating due to some hitches we had in the way that we were storing materials, so to help with that I have made Material Frame 4. Material Frame 4 is probably the best one I've made in that I've answered all the problems from below. I've cleaned up the hierarchy and everything. It's super cool. If you're not aware of how the material frames work, if I go over to the Builder and we set striped, you'll see that let's remove the hood, that we get the striped, is that striped? Yeah, striped. We get the striped body here. The texture that's here is being driven by that material frame. So if I were to grab the spotted lime colored one, it would apply. Try not to mix up spotted and striped. For this case, it's fine though. We're going to be using spotted as our demo for how to set one of these up. So any texture that you drop into here instantly gets applied to the avatar. And the way it does that though is it applies this texture to this material here. The material is placed in this slot to do a bunch of clever tricks that allow the color wheel to work. And it's also a good place to store them. For advanced avatar editors, they can use the material tooltips, which I provided over here to edit materials a bit more. As Material Frame grows, this won't be the last version. You'll have to open that material editor just a little bit less and a little bit less each time. So on to Material Frame 4. For Material Frame 4, I'm going to use I actually lost a clean spotted, so we're going to have to use the green one. I'm going to set up the Material Frame 4 for the spotted in here. So all you do is you inspect this, you go to the root, and then you'll see Material Frame 4 here. The first thing to note here is that you can change the name of the Material Frame 4 just by secondary selecting with the dev tool the label, and then you push this third, like last button on the list here, and then you can name this a spotted body. Yep, I can spell. And you'll see that the slot name has now renamed itself to spotted body as well. That's a good way to keep it synced, because if we go ahead and inspect the root of this piece of the wall, you'll see that like they're all called texture flame or like chest fluff. It gets kind of hard to, yeah, all of the bottom row is called chest fluff. And that's because it's the Material Frame 3 from the Build an Energy world. And apparently I grabbed the chest fluff material frame and I brought it across. So that's fixed in 4. By renaming the label, you rename the slot, so you can see that. I swear I put a P in there. I'm apparently having issues spelling today. Oh, that was the P at the end. That was weird. There we go. Spotted body. So again, that's synced to here. And then the next two things you need to do is you need to put a material in here. So I've got the spotted material here. That sits in there nicely. You also need to open up as a material inspector. I'm just going to grab a tool from my head for that. This is just a regular material tooltip. I didn't spawn a vanilla one ahead of time. I tend to, in tutorials at least, try and use the standard tooltip so that anyone that's unfamiliar with the ability to make custom tools is not put off by that. But it's just a normal material tooltip that I've customized. So this gives you the material inspector. Leave that to the side, and then you need to set up a bunch of things here. Under texture frame, drop main texture into the first element of the asset frame slot, iTexture 2D here. So targets, that'll then say asset ref and then the name of the material. Then on the color selector, it is hidden, but don't worry about that. Go to the target field here and drop in the color value. For flatlit toon, this is the color down here. For PBS and others, it's like albedo color. Just drop that up there. Go to emission selector. Drop in emission color there. Emission color. Close, and that's all set up. It's named and all the things are set up. So if I go over here and I drop the... I've lost the original spotted. So if I drop the lime one in here, you'll see that they're nice and lime. Let me bring this down. There we go. And then clear the inspectors. So now if I go over here and I push this button, it'll turn green, this color wheel appears. And I'm going to set it to red. If I then want to open up the emission, I can push the emission button and that'll open up emission. Now they're glowing very red. That's all there is to it right now. If you'd like any other features on the material frame, let me know. I showed Gabriel how to use them. They found them super helpful. And I hope that this update to them makes them even more so. There's a couple of features here to help people out. Like right now you've got the emission open. And if you go to try and open the primary color, it won't let you. It will close the emission one then, so you can just double click there. That prevents you from having both open. The reason why this color wheel is aligned in such a way rather than being directly over the button is so that these align correctly. If you're using things like axis aligner or any of the other aligner components, you want to make sure that when you open additional UI that the bounding box doesn't change. So here, the bounding box doesn't change no matter what I do. There's a slight change there, but that's an abnormal state for having the materials in there. I'll see what I can do about that one. Looks like that's just changing on the Z, so I can increase the box collider this way a little bit. That's Material Frame 4. I hope it's easy. With Material Frame 4, it is the guts and gubbins of the like visual aspects of a builded world. The rest is the turning the slots on and off. I'll do a separate video on how those work. There's a video on the tab system as well. So once you have the material frame video, the tab system video, and then an upcoming video on how this stuff works, you'll be able to build your own builder world. And then we'll get a lot more sort of avatar creation going. This tool will be in my public folder shortly. If it's not there, let me know. I might have forgotten to put it in there. It might be under maintenance. Do expect, like I said, Material Frame 5. I'm trying to see if I can get all the references that you need to set into the top of the root here in some fashion, so you don't have to go like rifle through the gubbins here. That's it for functionality. I do want to add the technical overview. I'll save that for a separate video. It'll be recorded right after this one, so we'll start off from there, and I'll link to it from this video. But I understand not everyone's interested in the technical, so we'll split it here. Hope that helps.